Hey, and happy Thursday, almost Friday. I'm popping on here today to talk about SEO. SEO feels a little bit probably like the wild, wild west. That's how I've referred to it in the past of algorithms and robots and little things that crawl your website. And it can be really hard and really intimidating to know what to do. But especially as a private practitioner, someone that can't rely on other marketing tactics the way that product-based businesses and things like that can, you have to be able to be found on Google. That's the first place most people are going to go when searching for a therapist. They may or may not be comfortable talking to a friend or family member and asking for a referral. They may not ask their doctor, but one thing they will do is ask Google, right? I hope if I die, someone reminds me to clear out my Google history before I die, because you'll ask Google anything. So it's really critical that you're showing up there, because that's A, it's where your clients are showing up, and B, it's free. If you optimize your site for Google to be found, it is totally free marketing. It's free organic traffic, and the better you get at that and the more traffic that you get, the better you will rank. So it really is kind of a win-win situation. It's a cycle of just continuing to get better and better. So SEO is really important, but where do you start? It can, like I said, feel really, really scary. It is an ever-evolving thing. Google means for it to be ever-evolving. There is no, if someone tells you they know everything about SEO, they're lying. It's impossible. There are things that Google intentionally keeps secret. There are things Google is changing on a daily, weekly basis. But there are some really foundational things that you can tap into in order for your site to be optimized for SEO and to really start finding people in that way and making yourself available to be found. So there's 5 things we're gonna talk through today. I have created a free guide because these things are definitely take some time, and unless you're taking notes right now, it might be kind of tough to follow along. So click the link. It's in the description or in the comments. I'll pop it there so that you can follow along and implement these things on your site. So number 1 is about keywords. You've probably heard this word before. Your keyword is not necessarily a single word. It can also be a phrase, but it is the phrase that people are most likely to type into Google to find you. There's a balance when it comes to keywords. People are searching for how to bake bread a lot. Ranking for the keyword how to bake bread is hard because there's so much volume. Now, people searching for really obscure specific things like my full name aren't gonna be finding a whole lot of results. So I probably rank pretty high for my own name, especially my maiden name, which was very confusing. So that's kind of the balance between keywords, and you have to decide, you have to find that sweet spot. Where am I most likely to rank in a way that communicates what I do, and that people are actually likely to search for in order to find you. A great way to do this, it is somewhat of a guessing game because Google wants it to be, but you can kind of tap into some data and figure out what's gonna work for you. And my favorite way to do that is with an extension called Keywords Everywhere, keywordseverywhere.com. It's an extension that you can add into Chrome or Firefox, and anywhere you search for something. That might be YouTube or Amazon, which isn't as helpful, but in Google, you can search the keywords that you want to rank for and start finding what that search volume is. A really good kind of sweet spot to know if a keyword is a good thing and going to be a good fit for you is between 10 and 100 searches per month. It's really likely that your keyword is going to include the name of your city or the area that you're in, which is great. You want to have that strong local presence. So download that extension and start just kind of testing out, like anxiety therapist Nashville, counseling therapist San Jose, whatever it is, and start thinking about what those keywords might be. What I want you to do is decide on 1 to 2 main keywords that your site's going to be built around. These are the keywords that you want to rank for the most, that you're really going to prioritize. Google doesn't want to see you focusing on 25 different keywords. There really should be a couple core ones that you're focused on. Then you could pick a couple secondary ones 5, 10, 20. Really, as if you're going to be regularly blogging or creating content, you're going to need a keyword every single time you do that. So keep track of some of those secondary ones. They might be variations of your main keywords, but other ones to keep in mind that you want to incorporate into your content. So once you've done that, that again is a process that can take as long or as short as you'd like, but I recommend spending 15, 30 minutes using that keywords everywhere, getting a little bit creative, and taking note of the keywords that are going to resonate most with your audience and ultimately connect with the content that you're putting on your website, because those things have to match up in order for Google to go ahead and say, yeah, we're gonna rank this site. So that's number one. Number two, now that you know your keywords, you're going to head into the content of your website. So that means your copy, that means the descriptions. They're called meta descriptions or title tags, which are, they live in the code of your site. So people aren't seeing them on the front end, but they're really, really critical because that's where Google actually gets the information about what your site is. So there's 4 things that I want you to start incorporating your keywords into. So stick just with those main keywords, so those 1 or 2 keywords. In your page title, every page title on your site should incorporate a keyword. Your page title of your homepage, for instance, should be your main keyword. So if you are a couples counselor in Nashville, make that part of your page title. Then there's a title tag. Your title tag usually, depending on what platform you've built your website on, takes on just the same title as your page title, which in this case might work well. As long as you have a keyword in your page title, your title tag will also update. But it's important, give it a Google, depending on where you build your site, if that's WordPress or Squarespace, to make sure that your title tag is also including one of your keywords. Then your meta description. I'll do a live a little bit later on how to write an effective meta description, but that's that little box that appears, it's the 1 to 2 sentences that describes what a page is about and lets you know, yeah, I want to go ahead and click on that page. You need to write a unique meta description for every page of your website, because keep in mind, Google doesn't rank sites, Google ranks pages. So every single page needs to have an individual meta description that incorporates one of those important keywords, but in a really natural way. Google sees past you just stuffing your meta descriptions or your title tags just full of keywords. It needs to be natural, and it needs to go ahead and tell your reader what you're about, but go ahead and fold in that keyword so that, again, Google sees that represented and can match your meta description to the content itself. Yes, this is in fact a counselor's couple in Nashville. Then there's your alt tags. Your alt tags are the metadata or the information associated with the media on your page. So if you have a headshot, if you have a picture of your office or something like that on your website, head into, again, your CMS, your WordPress, your Squarespace, your Wix, will usually make it really easily available if you double click on that image in the back end of your website to assign an alt tag. So you might also have the opportunity to update the name of the file itself. Both of those places should include a keyword, if at all possible, that's relevant to what that is. So if it's a picture, say, of your office, you could do office photo of couples counselor in Nashville. You folded that in a really natural way, but there's that keyword again. So just think, really, it doesn't have to be rocket science, but if you can head in to make these little detailed changes, Google will look at them. There's over 200 factors that weigh into how you rank on Google. So we're only talking about, 5 today? But these are some of the most important ones, because Google cares first and foremost about the content on your website. So if you can optimize that content, you are a step ahead. So again, each page on your website, because Google ranks pages, not sites, head into your page title, your title tag, your meta description, and your alt tags, and make sure that your keyword or one of your variations are included there. Next up, your site page URLs. So that's something like walkerstrategyco.com/about. About is what we call slug. That full thing is your URL. You have control over what these are, whether you're building in Squarespace or WordPress or anything like that. This is, again, a really easy way to fold in a keyword. Instead of, and some CMSs will just develop some random ID of like letters and numbers that don't mean anything. It's really helpful for your page URL, your slug, to match your page title or to some other way incorporate a keyword. So again, that could be walkerstrategycode.com/ about Anna, couples counselor in Nashville, something like that. Again, bringing that in. Just make sure in each of these implementations of a keyword that it's natural. Like I said, Google's gotten really good at seeing through when you're just trying to what they call keyword stuff. So don't use a keyword if it's not a natural place. Missing out or deciding to forego it on a certain page or a certain URL is not going to make or break your ranking. It's more important that it's relevant to your audience, because Google cares first about the quality of your content. Then they care about these little nitty-gritty SEO things. So focus first on content. Don't force it, but do try and find kind of a natural way to bring that in there. All right, 2 more things. Double check that your name, address, and phone number are in the footer of your website or on your contact page. This is called NAP, name, address, phone number. And this is how Google verifies that you are who you say you are. It's also really helpful because your practice likely exists in a local area. If Google can validate that your area code, your zip code, your street address are all in fact in that area, you're going to be more likely to rank in those local searches. So, when someone's looking on Google Maps and searches in there, you're more likely to show up there if your NAP is real and present on your website. So make sure that that's there. That's a really easy one. Last but not least, set up a Google Your Business profile. Google, of course, very much likes itself. So if you can set up a Google Your Business profile, I provide a link in that guide that I talked about. You can head right over there and start setting it up. Google will start understanding, again, who you are, making a connection between your Google Your Business profile and your website. And it also just gives you a lot more legitimacy. If someone searches directly for you, say they heard about you from a referral, and they decide to type your name or your practice name into that Google search bar, if a Google Your Business profile can show up, that adds a whole ton more legitimacy and builds a little bit more trust with that person, as opposed to if you're just some random website that doesn't have that information. So Google Your Business is a really critical one. Google loves to rank those, and that is a really nice way to continue helping to rank your site pages, the pages on your website, since Google ranks pages, not sites. That one note to make about that is, if you are a therapist or a counselor that has multiple different specialties, it's possible to rank individually for each of those because Google ranks pages. So if you have multiple specialties, make sure that you have individual keywords that are associated with those specialties. They don't have to be general. They can be really specific. So if you do couples counseling and play therapy, make sure that you're looking for keywords and using keywords that are specific to each of those, so that if someone's searching for play therapy Nashville, they'll find your play therapy specialty page. And if they're searching for couples counseling, they'll find your couples counseling page. So be specific to your niche. Download that keywords everywhere extension. You'll start noticing it every time you Google something. You'll see if other people are looking for chicken parm, like I hope to this weekend. So it's kind of just insightful in general, but it can also be really helpful for your website. So that was a quick rundown of 5 things you can do to start ranking your website. They're really easy. They take a little bit of time going into all of those little fields inside of your website, but they will have returns on them, because remember, SEO is free. If you do it well, it's free organic traffic. It's visibility and marketing that you don't have to spend $1 on, just a little bit of time. So if you have more questions, I'd love to talk to you. SEO is the wild, wild west, and we'll keep diving into it every single week. But I welcome your comments or your questions here in the comments of the live. I will include a link over to that guide if you want to start following along and implementing these in your own site. And we will keep wrangling our way through the wild, wild west. Enjoy your night. See you later.